How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about if you should or shouldn't install a VCM muzzler on your Honda or Acura J series engine. And this question came up a lot on my weekly Q&A videos. So I do have those every Monday. So if you're interested in those, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and answer general Honda and Acura questions. So anyways, we're going to be talking about, if you should or shouldn't install a VCM muzzler and kind of some of the side effects that the VCM system does have. It's not flawless, but it is pretty good in my opinion. And some of the earlier J series engines had some oil consumption issues directly related to the VCM system, although I do think some poor maintenance was also contributing to some of that due to Honda's insufficient and ineffective maintenance minder system. So anyways, what is VCM? And VCM stands for Variable Cylinder Management, and what it does essentially, it deactivates a couple of different cylinders, and it does that by just killing the fuel and the spark. The piston still goes up and down, and the camshaft still opens up the valve. Everything's still rotating mechanically, just the computer does this thing to deactivate the cylinder in that sense. And like I said, anything pre-Earth Dreams, there was some oil consumption issues, and I've done a whole lot of rings on them already. Initially, there was some PCM updates along with changing some spark plugs, and if that was too late at that point, we will be doing some rings, typically cylinder 1 to 3, sometimes 1 through 4, where 1 to 3 is the back bank or the one closest to the firewall, and cylinder 4, 5, 6 is on the radiator side if you're standing in front of the vehicle. So again, there were some oil consumption issues related to that, and that's generally everyone's concern. Is it going to cause some side effects down the road? A lot of these people contacting me do have newer Hondas, newer J series Hondas, so Odysseys, Pilots, MDX, TLX, whatever case may be, a ridgeline Passport, Accords, Crosstours, whatever the case may be. So a lot of these vehicles do have the VCM system. So I have not seen any oil consumption issues after or post Earth Dreams engines. So that's the one with the plastic intake manifold. It's pretty easy to identify. Anything before that kind of was susceptible to some oil consumption issues. Again, I think it was a combination between the VCM and poor maintenance, whether it be due to the customer not changing oil on time, or just Honda's maintenance minder system being far too laxative in my opinion. But anyways, so some of the issues besides the oil consumption that you may have is some unwanted vibrations. So typically the VCM comes on either partial throttle or very light throttle applications. So at that point, sometimes you may notice, obviously the engine's running on reduced cylinders, you may notice a subtle vibration, and that would be directly related to the VCM. Now, the motor mounts are electronic, and they try to accommodate and subside those vibrations, but sometimes if the motor mounts are bad, it's amplified a lot more, and you'll feel that more than you should. So like I said, most newer Hondas with the Earth Dreams engines, they've done a great job of basically minimizing all that stuff, and we haven't seen any consumption issues or any vibrations from the VCM. Not to be confused with the torque converter judder, which happens a lot with Honda's 6-speed transmission, which coincidentally is paired to these J series engines. So once again, should you be installing one on your vehicle or not? Now, if your concern is oil consumption on the newer J series, I would say no, don't install for that reason. On the older ones, if you happen to have an older Pilot or Odyssey or MDX, whatever the case may be, then you may want to install that for that reason, and just, of course, stay on top of the maintenance. What also happens sometimes is as you're driving it, especially this I noticed with the newer cars that have the 9-speed and the 10-speed transmissions. So there's a lot going on. Let's say you're going up a hill, you're in 5th gear or whatnot, going up the hill. So obviously you're probably at least quarter throttle or so to climb that hill, and all of a sudden it's in cylinder deactivation mode because you're on partial throttle, and you're in like 6th gear or 7th gear, whatever the case may be, and you decide to hit the throttle, now all of a sudden the engine has to go into full cylinder mode and also downshift. So that may cause some weird stuff going on. Also happens when you go to downshift and all of a sudden you're doing let's say 40 miles an hour, you start to slow down, and all of a sudden it realizes, all right, we're slowing down, we have to kick down a gear and also reactivate the remaining cylinders that are off. So if it's for that reason, then I would say absolutely get the VCM muzzler to keep the engine from deactivating as often. So as far as vibrations while driving partial throttle on a steady road, not uphill or anything like that, and you deactivate it, so at that point you may, and you start feeling something, you may want to look into your front and rear engine mounts, make sure they're still okay, because those are the ones that really take care of absorbing those vibrations, not the side ones or anything like that. So for that reason, if you start feeling that, you may want to do the VCM muzzler, although you may have another issue going on there. Now, on my 2021 TLX Type S, it also has VCM. It's equipped with a 10-speed automatic transmission, which is very great trans from Honda. And it does a great job of going from cylinder deactivation mode to regular all 6 cylinders. It's very seamless, and for once in a Honda product, I can't feel the transition not one bit, which is pretty amazing that Honda or Acura in this case narrowed it down and really got the software and everything on point. I feel like for instance, on my Pilot, which is a 19 Pilot with the 9-speed ZF transmission, I could feel the transition sometimes, depending on the situation or whatever the case may be. So again, depends on what you do. I've driven a new Pilot a couple of times, the 2023 model year, which has the same engine family as the TLX Type S, with the quad cams and a quad VTC and quad VC and the VCM. So there's a lot more stuff going on there, and it's still seamless on the TLX. So I would assume that on the new Pilot it's just as seamless. Although I haven't had the chance to drive the new Pilot on a long enough distance to really pinpoint or get a good observation of that. So if you are interested in picking up one of these VCM muzzlers, there is one that I found on eBay that I really liked. The place is called, the manufacturer is called VCM Muzzler, and they offer a really nice kit, and I'll make sure I have a link in the description below. They offer a really nice kit that goes on the ECT sensor, and it tees in between the sensor and the OEM harness, and it has these little pills or these little capsules that you pop in, pop out real easy. Even comes with one that will simulate not anything being there, so you go back to factory at any point if you wanted to, without disconnecting the whole system entirely. So it does come with 5 different pills total, and you start with the lowest resistance ones. If you notice, the Ecolite is still coming on the older vehicles. Some of them don't even have that anymore. Then you move on to another pill until of a higher ohms, until you reach the desired consistency that you want at that point. And like I said, at any point you could pop in the 0 pill and it goes back to being 100% like OEM activated VCM and all that stuff. So it's about 90 bucks or so shipped. So I have the link in the description below. It actually comes with an extended pigtail. You can zip tie somewhere and just pop those pills in and out real easy. Some of them come in just with like a T, and you have to literally plug in a resistor and plug it back out, which is real shady in my opinion. They're obviously a lot cheaper, but if you're looking to get something that's quality made, then I'm gonna recommend this one. And again, I'll have the link in the description down below. So that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Hopefully this answers any of your questions. If you do guys have any additional questions, make sure you guys drop me a comment down below. And I'm also working on some other videos that I promise you guys, and I will get to those little by little. And I want to try to be as thorough as possible. So just to recap real quick, If you're feeling vibrations or oil consumption, at that point it's too late. You probably need rings already. But if you're feeling vibrations or any sort of juddering or just weird shifting or downshifting as you're driving and maneuvering during town, then this is probably something that will be good for you. Although you may have a different underlying condition, which would be something like the mount or something of that nature. So once again, guys, I'm going to wrap up the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.